Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos. And if you're here for a second, third, or fourth time, thank you so much for coming back and getting creative. Alright guys, it's going to be another fun painting. Alright guys, it's going to be another fun painting. So grab your supplies, turn on your favorite music, get your traceable transferred to your surface, and don't forget to take your progress photos. Now on mine, you'll be able to see I went over my traceable with a black Sharpie marker, and that's for those of you at home that are going to draw what you see. But if you're using the traceable, you do not have to do the black outline on top of that. So we're going to start with the background, and you're more than welcome to change the colors of the background. I'm doing a mixture of yellow and green here, and you'll notice that I'll mix it a few times, and sometimes it's going to be a little darker, sometimes it's a little bit lighter. That's okay if that happens to you as well. I want you to just kind of play and have fun. So I am using student grade paint, so I'm applying it a little bit thicker so that way it has a little bit more opaque coverage. So feel free to adjust for what you need to in your background or with the paint that you have. So here you can see, basically you can just wipe off a little bit if you need to, if you overlap it. But I'm going to go back in, here we go, with the darker green and just kind of keep these angled brush strokes. It's just kind of a nice little flick of the wrist back and forth. If you've got a different texture in your background, totally okay. And if you end up getting too dark, you can go in with the direct yellow and do the same thing. But I kind of liked this particular direction in the background. Now, this is part of my Inspiring Humans series. Martin Luther King, I can hear his voice even just saying his name, but a very inspiring human. So I'm glad to kind of honor him here today. So again, like I said, you can change colors. I've given him a light purple tie and he'll have a blue blazer, but you can change it to anything that you want. So that light purple, we laid it on there, and then now we're going in with the dark purple and just kind of placing it where the knot would happen to be and then spreading it into that base paint. Then we're moving into the blue paint for his blazer, and I am just using that direct blue. If you want to go lighter or darker, go right ahead. And you will notice that because it's student grade paint, you can see a few places where it's a little bit thinner compared to a little more opaque. Again, just adjust for what you need for your tools. Now grabbing some of that white, putting it on the top of the collar. This would kind of be a bit of a highlight and on the shoulder. And with that light pressure, just kind of smushing it into that base color. Doing the opposite with black. And again, as we go through this, I want you to just observe where I place each of these colors on the canvas and mimic that to the best of your ability. And more importantly, trust your instincts. You do not have to do everything that I do in the video, and if you feel like doing more, go right ahead and do that. Creativity is a very personal and individualized process, so take it where you need to go. All right, so a good place to pause the video and take a progress photo. We are going to work on the skin tone, and we're doing a mixture of raw sienna and burnt sienna. And here it'll be really obvious to tell that this is student grade paint. We will be doing 2 layers of this. If you happen to be using thicker paint and don't need to do the second layer, you can skip that part of this video. We will do that same wet on wet blending for some of the darker shadow areas and the highlight areas on the face, and we'll do it a second time with the second layer. It's just as getting you good practice with your tools and just kind of comfortable with blending and comfortable with layering the paint. Now, if you've been going through this at the pace of the video, please relax, take a deep breath. You do not have to go at the pace of the video. It is time lapse just to make it easier for me since I'm producing all of these. But yeah, do not go at your own pace. And if you need to pause the video in places that I don't recommend doing that, go right ahead and pause it. This is your creative outlet. All right, so just getting that last little section of the skin in there. We will kind of change the lips to be more of a lip color on the next one. Here we go. So for the lips, mixing the red and raw sienna and basically just painting right over that last section I just painted. This will be more opaque when we do the second layer. And then there's the part on the chin, the neck that I forgot. All right, so don't stress. I know it looks kind of funky with all those brush strokes, but don't worry about it. We're going to do a second layer. So here, I'm just going in with the small pointy brush and white paint, just filling in kind of the edge of his shirt and the little bit that's showing through. And now moving into black for the final part on the canvas, his hair, his eyebrows, his mustache, and a little bit of a shadow underneath his lip. All right, then we will let this dry, and like I said, we'll do a second layer, and it is really cool just to see the difference and how much better it looks when we put that second layer on there. And that's one of my favorite things about acrylic paint is you can just layer as much as you want. In my professional work, I paint with a palette knife, and I have almost 100 layers on some of my work before I consider it done. So acrylic paint is very versatile, and it's great for my beginner and first-time painters. All right, so we are almost at the underpainting. You guys are doing a great job. Remember to breathe and relax. I'm proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone and getting creative. And like I said earlier, feel free, you can switch out any of the colors if you do this multiple times. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo. Like I said, do let this fully dry before we go into our second layer on the skin tone and the hair. And already you can see that it's just giving a much better consistency, much better coverage, and still using that raw sienna and burnt sienna mixture. And I thought we were going to do some shading on the first layer, but we didn't. But we'll be doing some shading on the second layer, some highlights and shadows. All right, and if you need to, if you want to turn your canvas sideways because it makes it a little bit easier to get to a certain area, you do not have to keep it in the same orientation for the entire painting process. So feel free to rotate the canvas as needed. And I do encourage everybody to kind of find a creative outlet on a regular basis for yourself. It is more important the process of painting rather than your final outcome, because each time that you paint, you're going to learn something new, you're going to build on your skills from the last time, and you'll just keep getting better and more comfortable. So there's always something else that you can work on. So perfection is just, it's relative to each person or the person saying something's perfect. All right, so getting those last little sections on there, then we're going to do some wet on wet blending. And we'll start with the raw sienna and put that in the highlight area, kind of in the T-zone, the forehead and the nose. So you do want to clean that brush out really good. I had the water off camera, so sorry about that. You didn't see me clean it. But now grabbing that raw sienna, putting it on the forehead and kind of where the nose would be. You think this is the lightest place on the face. And then we'll come in with some of that burnt sienna for a bit of the darker area. And going into the cheek and the left-hand side of that chin, again, just kind of observe where I place it and mimic that to the best of your ability on your canvas. There we go. Now we're moving into that raw sienna, or the burnt sienna, excuse me, and putting that on the right-hand side of the face, the ears, and where the eye sockets are. And as you do this, get out of your chair every now and then, prop your painting up, and look at your painting from a distance of 5 to 10 feet away. Some of the shading that you just did will make more sense when you look at it from a distance compared to being up close at about 2 feet away from your painting. So now moving into the small pointy brush and going back to the red and raw sienna color for the lips. They're going to fill that on both the top and bottom lip, and then we're going to put a little bit of a highlight with white on that bottom lip. And you may notice that sometimes I hold my brush at a 45-degree angle. That helps give me a little bit smoother brush strokes when I'm painting on thicker paint or really wet paint. All right, so same here. You saw where I kind of placed the white, wipe that brush off, and then go in with that 45-degree angle and just lightly pull this white into the red and burnt sienna mixture. All right, then we're going to move right into the outlines, and you can use that middle flat brush or the pointy brush. Whichever brush that you are using, play with the pressure. More pressure is going to create wider lines. Less pressure is going to create smaller lines. And for my first-time painters, if you've got varying widths of lines in your painting, that's okay. The next time that you paint, your muscles will remember this, and your lines will get better each time that you try this. And again, if you need to turn the canvas sideways or upside down, go right ahead. I'm leaning off towards the left of the camera.
just so I think I had a glare from one of the lights and it was easier to see it coming from the left-hand side. So adjust what you need to make it easier for you to observe what you are creating. All right, and again, we're just going right over the ears, basically redoing the traceable for those lines. And I will go back in and give his hair and eyebrows and mustache and shadow one more layer of black paint. All right, again, remember to breathe. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you guys for painting. Start getting a list of other things that you want to paint and try to find a creative outlet regularly in your life. This is something great to do with friends and family or for kids' birthdays. These are great memories that you'll always kind of look back on when you do this with friends. So I highly encourage that. And you're more than welcome to use any of my videos on my channel for your paint and sip party at home. And apologize about the wobbly video camera there. I must have hit the tripod without realizing it. Things happen when you're filming on your own. All right, so now moving into the white, being really kind of fast and sketchy with it. So just kind of observe where it's placed and mimic that on your canvas. So thank you guys so much for hanging out and getting creative with me. Please, please keep painting. And until next time, cheers.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of painting and I hope you are happy with how your paintings turned out. I'm really proud of you for getting creative. As you're uploading these to social media, please tag me at or hashtag paintwithlovejoy or email me your pictures paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. I really enjoy seeing them. I try to post them on social media to encourage other beginner painters to try the process of painting. But please share this with your community as well. Anybody who is kind of scared to paint, share your experience with them and let them know kind of how much you benefited from it and how much you enjoyed the process. So kind of share the fun. With that being said, if you have any comments, questions, feedback, things that you want me to paint in the future, please leave a comment. I try to respond to everybody as quickly as I can. And any of the future suggestions for paintings, I add that to my production list and get to them as quickly as I can. So in the meantime, please keep getting creative. Let me know how you're doing. And until next time, cheers.